Hey guys, it's Lenore Bowles here, and this is Life After Heartbreak with Lenore Bowles. Thank you so much for being here today and taking some time out of your day. I know things are hectic, everyone's busy, and watching this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and share. I always ask that you share my videos because you never know who in your life will never tell you what's going on, and this video may help them. So please share it if you haven't already. Take time, go do it right now. And today we're talking about discovering our purpose through healing. And this was difficult for me because my purpose is to help as many women as possible discover their new life and their new normal after a heartbreak, right? So when I got out of my 7-year relationship, it was a toxic 7-year relationship, and a good 6 years of that was pretty toxic. There were red flags in the first month that I chose to ignore. I didn't want to tell people that when I got out of this relationship. I wanted to keep it all bottled up inside, and I didn't want to talk about it. But my purpose truly is helping as many women as possible discover who they are after a relationship. In order to do that, I had to go through my own healing and really discover who I was again. And that was difficult for me because I always say I have a good poker face, but my friend told me today, you don't really have that good of a poker face. And I always laugh because I have RBF. So if you don't know what that is, it's resting bitch face. And I totally do. I'm not angry, I'm not upset, really not thinking about much. I just look mean. And I always say, well, you need to talk to God because this is the face he gave me. So, but I'm putting a lot of effort into not looking angry all the time. Pass, fail, not really sure. But I had a poker face when I was going through my relationship. And I do have friends who have said, we didn't even know you had broken up because you never said anything. And honestly, it was because I didn't want to talk about it. It wasn't their business. Love them to death, but I didn't want to have to explain what went wrong. So I just didn't. I didn't say anything. And I had to get to the place where I accepted the fact that it didn't work out. I am a perfectionist and I like to do things well. And I like to, in school, I like to get A's. And I like to be the best at whatever I'm doing. And for me, my relationship failed and I wasn't the best and it wasn't pleasant. I had to accept the fact that it failed and figure out what my new normal was. And that was difficult. I didn't want to talk about it, so I didn't. But now that I've gone through that healing process and I've built up my self-love toolbox and I have discovered who I am and what I like and rediscovered things that I did these things for the sake of being in a relationship and I had someone else's feelings and wants and needs to consider, but I didn't really like to do it. Now I don't have to do it anymore. And it's great because I just don't. Paying a cable bill. It was a big argument in our relationship because I paid the cable bill and it was high, high, over $200 high. And I had to pay this bill and I didn't want to. And so that was a point of contention for us. And I had to figure out in that relationship, do I just suck it up and pay this bill or do we fight about it every week? And then I suck it up and pay this bill. And that's literally what it was. Every month, the bill would come in. I'd look at it and be like, I'm sick of paying this. Let's cancel the cable. Argument would ensue. I didn't cancel the cable and I paid the bill. And it was an ongoing process. And once we were out of the relationship, I canceled the cable. And I have been cable free for over a year. And it's awesome because I have Netflix and I have Hulu and I have Amazon Prime. So you have their whole video system and I'm not really missing it. Now, Game of Thrones did start on Monday, which was yesterday. Sunday. I don't have cable, so I didn't know that. I can do the HBO app, but I haven't. And so I have to like avoid spoilers for the next couple of months, because once the whole season plays, then I will get HBO and I will binge watch it, and then I'll cancel it again. So I have a process with this whole thing, and I like it, and I don't have to consider anyone else's feelings. But I had to rediscover who I was. And through that rediscovering who I was, and like literally working on myself and taking a good look in the mirror. And when I say taking a good look in the mirror, like I have an activity that I do with one-on-one clients where I have you talk to yourself in the mirror, and really it just builds your self-confidence, and you kind of figure out who you are and what you enjoy. And it's a great exercise. And I did it all the time. And it was great, because now I like have the confidence that I thought I needed from a relationship, because I feel like, actually I don't feel like, I know I held on to that relationship for so long because I needed someone. And I've said this before, and it could have been anyone, and it was like a drug, and it was like a bad drug, like bad trip. I don't know anything about drugs because I don't do drugs, but no idea. But apparently there's bad trips that you can go on. And like, it was a bad experience, and I had to deal with it. And it was something that I inflicted upon myself. And then I had to take ownership after the relationship had failed, and really look at myself in the mirror and own up to what I had done wrong. And through that, I forgave myself, and I forgave my ex, and I built up the confidence that I need. And I discovered again who I am, what I want, what do I want out of life. And I've always been the person that like help other people. I volunteer a lot, so I really love helping other people. But I needed to figure out how can I do this every single day for the rest of my life? And I figured it out. And I went and got certified as a life coach, partly because it had been something that I've been thinking about and praying about, and like, is this what I need to be doing? And I'm still getting better at like getting my prayers to be very specific. And I had a conversation with my friend today, and we were talking about some things that she had prayed on that actually like came true. And like things start happening, and she got really specific with her prayers. And I'm kind of general, because you know, my thought forever was, God knows who I am. Like, he knows everything. Of course he knows what I want, but I need to ask for it very specifically. So I'm still working on that aspect of my relationship with God and figuring out who I am. Of course, I think this is going to be an ongoing process. You're always discovering things that you like, and you're always discovering who you are. But I really like the person I've become through this whole process, because I actually took the time to do the work necessary to become the person I want to be. And through that process, I found out what I want to do every day for the rest of my life. I was already passionate about helping people. I knew that I wanted to help people, and I always have been I'll help you plan this, or someone was in need for whatever reason, and figuring out how can I help them do whatever needs to be done. And I always in my younger years before I was in my last relationship, would let people crash on my couch. So really just like, how can I help someone in their time of need? That was me. And I was the friend that was the go-to for that. And it was great. It could get exhausting. So I also had to discover, how can I give to other people, but not give so much of myself away that I start having adverse effects of that, and like having negative reactions or feeling like drained. So that's all a part of the self-love toolbox that I have built up as well over the past couple of years. So it's all a process, and you really have to start the process by healing from the things that have hurt you. And I have other videos. So I talked about forgiveness, but I also had the daddy's issues video. And it actually was, I'm going to be a little bit honest, because that's what I do. I was terrified to post this video. scared to death because I didn't know how my dad would react. And I sent it to my sister first so that she can watch it. And I was like, do you think he's going to be upset if I post this? And she said, well, if he's upset, then he's not over it. And this is about you. It's not about anyone else. And that was the approval I needed. So I posted it, but I didn't tell him because I was still scared. And I knew that was something that I had to do. So I called him and he didn't answer. And so I word vomit on his voicemail and said, I posted this video and it's about you and I just want you to watch it. Pretty much that's what it was, but more frantic. And he called me back. I was already in bed and said, did you bash me on the internet? And I was like, no, not really. But it is about you and it's about daddy issues and I want you to watch it. So I sent him the video. And then of course, my heart is beating and I just tried to go to sleep because I knew that if I was up trying to, I knew how long the video was and I'm checking the clock. So I tried to go back to sleep and then my aunt called me. And mind you, it's after 10:30 at night. My aunt called me to ask me about some random topic. And I was like, why are you calling me? We live in the same state. We live 20, 30 minutes away from each other. So it was late where she was too. And I was like, why aren't you in the bed? What is happening right now? Talked to her for a little bit and then tried to go back to sleep. And then he texted me and I called him and we had a conversation for the first time of, this is my feelings about our relationship. And he apologized. And it was the best experience I ever had. And yes, I posted it in a video. So I feel like he got the opportunity to see how it truly affects me because I dropped some tears in that video, which I hate doing publicly, but that's all a part of me still growing and becoming who I'm supposed to be. And it was the most vulnerable I've ever been in a video. And I talked to him about it and he apologized. And that's all I wanted because he acknowledged my feelings without making me feel like they didn't matter. And it was seriously, it was the best conversation we've had in probably ever. But I was terrified. And so all of these things that I had never in a million years would have done before, I'm starting to do in an effort to fulfill my purpose because I seriously desired just to help at least one person because there's got to be a reason for the 7 years, right? It's been 8 years total, a little bit over 8 years of going through the relationship and the healing. But there had to be a reason. I couldn't have gone through all of that I've gone through. And let me just say that I never want to bash anyone. I have forgiven my ex. I don't think he's a terrible person. I think he made terrible choices. And I just pray that he is living the life that he wants. And that's okay that it's not with me because I'm living the life that I want and it's pretty damn good right now. So I don't want anyone to ever think oh, she's so angry and she hates him and she's bashing him because I'm not. I'm just saying what happened from my perspective. His perspective is likely going to be different and that's okay. But for me, this is my truth. And for him, that's his truth. He's free to go talk about it like I'm talking about mine. So I don't want anyone to ever think that I'm trying to bash someone because I don't wish bad things to happen to him. And I'm not angry anymore because I was very hateful with my anger, but I was hateful to myself for the most part for allowing things to happen for so long and not recognizing red flags or recognizing the red flag and then ignoring it. But I had to figure out, I had to accept the fact that all of that was in an effort for me to become the person I needed to be. Because without the lessons of 7 years in a relationship where I felt less than and I didn't feel wanted and I, just didn't feel good about myself for most of the time, there had to be a reason behind it. I always say there's a method to the madness. There had to be a method to the madness. And if there wasn't, I was going to be pissed. Thankfully, there of course was a method to the madness, and I figured it out. I'm here to tell you that you're not crazy for dealing with it, and you're not stupid for dealing with a man who didn't want you, or dealing with a man who lied to you or cheated on you, or any of those things that may have happened to you, because there's a method to your madness. And discovering your purpose starts with accepting the fact that you did some things wrong too, forgiving your ex and yourself, dealing with any generational sort of issues. That would be like daddy issues, or, I was talking with a friend and we were talking about like generational curses, and, alcoholism runs in my family. I made a choice as a teenager that would not be me. And to this day, that is not me, because I needed to stop the curse. And she said, it may be a curse, but it stops with me. And that's so true. Like, you have to make the decision to stop it. No one else can make that choice for you. So you got to figure out how you're going to stop it. And sometimes it's literally just acknowledging that there's an issue, acknowledging that you're predisposed to some things. Like, alcoholism runs in families. That's genetic. There's an aspect of that you have no control over. But there is also a social aspect of it, and you have control over that. So you need to control what you can control and manage everything else. So I know I have the genetic aspect, and if I allowed it to be bad, it would be really bad. But I have control over the social aspect, so I control it. And I don't allow myself to get crazy. Been there, did not like the after effects. Like, I am no good on a hangover. So I just don't. And that's a choice that I make. Now, at 32 now, it's not something that I have to think about. But when I was like partying in my early 20s, this is something I thought about. And I knew that if I let it get out of control, I could quickly get pulled into the alcoholism that other members of my family had to deal with. And I didn't want to have to deal with that. So I made a choice. And it worked out. Sometimes everything's about choices, and I'm always talking about choices because literally it's about choices. You got to make the choice for yourself. No one else can make that choice for you. No one else can control it. It's all up to you in the end. So all of those things, dealing with your generational curses, dealing with the things you accepted in the relationship that you probably never would have accepted in a normal, like, healthy relationship, recognizing red flags. And I'll do a video about red flags because, trust me, I've been seeing them all, probably not all of them, but I've seen a lot of them, and I let almost all of them slide because I'm human. And I did, because I wanted to be in a relationship. So to do that, I knew I needed to accept some things that I probably wouldn't have otherwise. So dealing with all of that, figuring out who it was, led me to look internally and figure out who I am. So what are you passionate about? Like, these are some of the questions I would ask myself. What am I passionate about? What do I like doing? What have other people said to me and like recognized in me that I may not have recognized in myself? And I had friends and family and just like coworkers that I barely talked to, or people that I just met say like, you're really good at this. Thank you for helping me with this. Like, you should do this full time. And I did. And I started training at work. So I applied for a promotion, got trained became a trainer in my department. And then that was a way for me to figure out who I wanted to be. And the next step to that was becoming a manager. And, it was in my career, I was doing an aspect of what I wanted to do. And this is just another element of that for me. It's something that I can control. I get to record a video and put it on YouTube and really just talk about what I want to talk about versus talking about what I'm like required to talk about for work. And the ultimate goal in becoming a trainer and manager, and the ultimate goal in starting a YouTube page and getting certified as a life coach, was how can I help impact the lives positively of women who have experienced things that I've experienced too? What can I share with them that I've learned? And really, what can I share with my sister who is one of my closest friends, love her to death, love her so much I got her name tattooed on my wrist, her first and middle name. And how can I help her not experience the same things that I experienced in 7 years? What information can I share with her and my younger cousins that will prevent them from going through anything similar? How can I help them recognize those red flags and take action to avoid a man similar to the man that I was with? So all of that was things that I started considering and thinking about. And then I became certified as the life coach. And then I made a decision, I'm going to do it and I'm going to speak my truth. And hopefully that will impact people positively. So I hope these videos do. I really love doing them because 7 years is a long time and a whole lot of lessons. And I never want to paint the picture that I was perfect, because I was definitely a contributing factor. A relationship is two people, and I contributed a lot to what I experienced. So I never want to leave the impression that I was Miss Innocent in this relationship, because that is not it at all. At all. I was definitely a contributor to some of the negative things, but I will say the amount of positivity, or I don't even know how to say it, the amount of energy I put towards the man I loved. Because honestly, I don't think that was true love. I think it was desperation on my part. And I think it was, I don't know, desperation is probably a good descriptor. I was desperate to be in a relationship because I was looking for something, and I took anything that came my way. And that used to be really hard to admit out loud. And it was really hard, but it's true. And if me admitting that out loud helps one person either avoid that or admit it out loud to themselves and begin on the road to healing and happiness and discovering who they are and fulfilling their purpose, it was worth the 7 years. Seriously. So figure out what you like to do. I always pray on it. So pray on it. Talk to the people around you. What do they see in you that you may not see in yourself? And then figure out how you can do it every day for the rest of your life. So I love to write. I love to read. So I write books about this topic. And I'm actually writing a book right now called Life After Heartbreak, named after my channel. It's going to be my story and what I learned and how I got through it. And in more depth, names have been changed to protect the guilty. But it really was necessary for me to write this because I'm still healing. I'm still discovering who I am. I find things every day that I'm like, that's not so bad, or I'm pretty good at that, so let's try it. So I'm still learning, and this is an ongoing process, and self-love and healing and becoming a better person and understanding who you are, that is ongoing. You are always learning new things. I never want to stop learning. If I could be a perpetual student, I say this all the time, I would. But I got bills to pay, and I can't just go to college full time. I would have 5 master's degrees and 2 PhDs right now if I could, but I can't afford it because I gotta work and I got bills to pay. But I'm learning in other ways, and that's new. So, I'm still figuring out what I like, but this is the thing, and that relationship has spurred me in and led me down the path to doing what I'm doing now. And I'm just thankful for it. So, figure out what you like, talk to the people around you, and do what you want to do. Write a book, start a blog, start a business, start a nonprofit. There's 1,000 things that you can do to start working on yourself. Don't focus on a relationship. Don't focus on a man. Focus on you and starting a blog, writing a book, all of those things can help you really focus on yourself, because now you don't have time for a man. And when it is time for you to be in your next relationship, trust me, it will happen. I've just recently if you watch a couple of videos ago, I said, or maybe it was a live video, I'm not sure, but I said, oh, I don't know if I'm ready to start dating. And I keep going back and forth. And I kept going back and forth because I think that's like my safe place where I'm like, no, I like this. It's not so bad. I think I really just admitted that I think I'm ready. It still freaks me out a little bit because I really like being single now, and it's not so bad. It's actually really good. So, you know, when the time is right, you'll be in another relationship, but that shouldn't be your focus. Your focus is you. And if you have children, your focus is your children. And that is my focus, because at the end of the day, we're the only ones that matter. And the man for me will come along and things will be good. Not to like tie a pretty little bow on it, because obviously it's not going to be good. It's going to be work, but I can't put energy towards dating. That's not my sole focus. My sole focus is working on me and figuring out what I need in order to move forward. And that will spur you into figuring out your purpose. So if you want more direction on finding your purpose, I do offer one-on-one coaching, and I work with clients and help them figure out what they should be doing. So in the no, this isn't Instagram, in the description below, there's a link, and it starts with lenorebowles.as.me. It looks really funky, but it is a link so that we can chat and figure out if we would work good together. And I will help you figure out in one-on-one coaching, that's several sessions recorded and activities and support and direction on how you can start moving towards happiness. And figuring out who you truly are and what you want out of this thing called life. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. As always, please subscribe, like, share. You'll never know who this will impact. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.